What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. Today, we're back with my 1989 Foxbody, my $2,500 V8 5-speed Foxbody Mustang with a brand new engine. Yep, we are back with this car. I ozoned it last night. I put an ozone machine in it and ran it for 6 hours, and guess what? That funky mouse smell, gone. Completely gone. The car now smells like ozone. With time, that will go away. It'll eventually just kind of smell like normal, like almost nothing. So in the previous video, we put quite a bit of work into this. I was in here for hours working on this car. We got rid of the giant tack that was over there. We swapped out the instrument cluster. We put in new seats. And then we realized that the speedometer doesn't work. So I have some things that I want to get done today. Number one, first and foremost, the biggest thing I want to get done today is the speedometer. Number two, and this is not in the order in which we're going to be doing things, but I am ripping out the MSD ignition box. That's right. If you guys remember, I put a custom tune on this car, several custom tunes actually, a selectable tuner where I can do 87, 91, and 93, and then there's another tune that disables the car from running. Well, if you guys remember right, the car would run even when I had it disabled. And I couldn't figure that out, and I'm like, what is going on? Guys, this MSD box is a huge problem because my tune is being overwritten by this MSD box. This MSD box is its own computer system. It's controlling spark, timing everything on its own, and my computer is also trying to control spark and timing. You can't have both, guys. It doesn't work that way. You cannot have the aftermarket tune trying to control timing and this controlling timing. What we have is probably a conflict between that computer and the MSD box. They're not cooperating, so we are ripping that out. We're just going to go back. We're going to keep the MSD coil. All the other stuff can stay. We're just removing the box and giving control of the timing back to the car. Now, this is the part that you guys are really going to be upset about. I'm ripping this out. I've done decided. I made up my mind. We're ripping it out. I'm going to take this funky looking, I don't know what this, you got like this one chrome cover on the front of the air compressor. Not really sure why, but that's coming off because it doesn't fit. It looks kind of weird. We're going to rip all of this out. We're going to rip out the electric fans. I'm going to swap out. This hose looks a little, it looks a little weak. So we're going to replace the upper hose. We're going to replace the lower hose. I wish I would have bought a belt for this. This would have been a great time to have swapped out the serpentine belt, but because it's Christmas Day, nothing's open. So I can't get any parts for this. So yeah, upper lower hose, radiator, fan clutch, old school fan clutch, fan shroud. I've got all the parts for it. I'm also going to get in here, tighten up the headers. We do have some header leaks, which will affect the oxygen sensor performance as well. That affects timing and spark and fuel delivery and all that good stuff. So we want to tighten down the headers as best we can. There's a lot to do in this video, including getting it on the lift and plugging the speedometer cable back in, because I know that that is what went wrong with it. And I think once we get all of this done, I think I'm going to be very happy with this car. Okay, it's about time to get started. So I think I'm going to start with the cooling system. I mean, everything under here is going to have to be ripped out anyway. This is a great time to just do it all. The cooling system, the MSD, because all of this, I mean, just look at this mess under here. You got electrical tape all over the place, and then these relays that are just sitting here, grounds that are corroding, this horrible fan controller. This is awful. And then all of this, the wiring just runs, and I mean, I don't know, guys. Blue? I mean, yeah. All of this needs to go. This needs to go. All of this over here, this will come out, and we're going to clean this up. What is that? Oh, that's the battery cable. We're gonna clean this up a lot, guys. It's going to look a lot better when we're done. And I just got to figure out where the original OEM plug for the coil is that's controlled by the car, because something over here has got to have taken the place of the factory coil with that MSD box. So that's something that I got to figure out. So right now, I'm just going to slide my pan under the car, and I'm going to put you guys on the tripod. We're going to start ripping all of this out. All right, obviously the battery is already disconnected, so we don't have to deal with any of that. There's so much that needs to be done under here. Like this isn't right, man. I don't know if I'll get to that today. I've got so much to do already, but there is some tidying up that needs to be done under here for sure. Where to start? We could start by trying to take the fans out. I guess that wouldn't be too hard to do. Looks like, actually, we could just take the fans out. We don't need to take the fans out. We'll take the fans out with, this wiring is just laying loose under here. Okay. I don't even see how this thing clips in. Anyway, we'll start by disconnecting the fans and draining the coolant. Well, this is going to make a mess. That's just all there is to it. I cannot get the petcock out of the radiator, so unfortunately that means we're just going to be forced to make a mess under this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take the upper radiator mount brackets off, and we're going to prepare to make a big old mess under this beautiful Foxbody. Easy enough. Throw this stuff over here out of the way with the bolts that go to it. All this wiring, this is what I'm talking about right here. All of this. Like wow. I'm so excited to get all of this out of here because it's such a mess. We've got zip ties everywhere under here. There goes one. There we go. See, we're making headway. I don't know. I'm going to cut this hose right here that goes from the washer fluid reservoir. There we go. Yep, just start leaking. I've got a pan under there. Hopefully it's catching it. And next, the big mess is going to be taking off the lower radiator hose. Boy, this is... I don't even know, man. I don't even know. We just, all kinds of fabricated stuff going on here. Just take this stuff off. This is like a custom-made bracket that's holding on the overflow bottle. We'll get that off. And here's the other thing. Some of you are going to be like really upset with me for taking this stuff off, and I already know that. And I accept that you're going to be mad at me. That's fine. I've had people mad at me before. It won't be the first time, and certainly won't be the last. But here's where I'm at too. These parts that I'm taking off, they're valuable. Believe it or not. These parts are actually worth some money. So taking this stuff off gives me something to sell. Also, this isn't just a... let's take everything off for no reason. Like, I have these parts to sell, plus my car will be closer to stock. And let me tell you something that I've learned over the years of buying other people's project cars. And I think if you've ever owned one, you'll agree with me. Project cars are fun if you're the one that built it, because you know every piece, every part that you put into the car. When you buy somebody else's project, it's not quite as fun, because now you don't know every piece and every part that was put on. You don't know all the hidden secrets, and you just kind of go along figuring it out as you go. It makes it a lot less fun. So for me, I prefer something like this. This is never going to be a drag car. This is just something I want to cruise in and enjoy. So for me, it just makes more sense to make this car as close to factory stock as we can, so that if I need to replace things down the road, I can just go to the parts store and get the parts, you know? That's what it's about for me. Okay, the clamp is off. Here we go. Are you guys ready to make a mess? Because when this lower hose comes off, let me get that clamp out of there. Come on. We're probably going to need that. Once this lower hose comes off, it's going to be there's no going back now. Here we go. Oh yeah, that bucket won't be big enough. Uh-oh. 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 Actually, the bucket was big enough. Ha! Good deal. Well, we did not make, I mean, we made a mess, but we didn't make a big mess. So that's good. Next, let's pull off this upper radiator hose. We are well on our way to getting this radiator out of here. One of the things I love about the Foxbody is it's such an easy car to work on, guys. It's pretty straightforward. Parts are usually readily available. So, and if they're not, you can Amazon overnight most of this stuff, guys. Not a big deal. Like I said, we're going to change these hoses because they're definitely a little older and looking a little bit tired. Come on. There we go. Off she goes. With any luck, this top hose will cooperate with us too. Come on. Here we go. Bingo. Not too shabby. This would have been a great time to swap out the thermostat too, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would have been a perfect opportunity to change the thermostat. As far as these wires down here, I'd like to disconnect them. The problem is I can't hardly see what's holding them on. Ah, yeah, it's a push tab. All right, easy enough. Now, unless I'm mistaken, this radiator should just plop right on out of here. Oh, wow. Yep. One fluidine radiator and Mishimoto cooling fans. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. This is just some of the wiring that we're getting rid of. Not getting rid of all of it. We're definitely getting rid of some of it. I think one of these is a factory harness that runs to the lights. And the other one is for the fans, power, and all that other crap that goes to this. Wow, this is just really not much care was taken to installing all of this. That's for sure. It looks like someone was just kind of in a hurry to get it done and be finished with it. Look at all. I mean, there's so much going on here. Oh, look, a wire just fell out of the fan. I didn't even pull on it. The wire just fell out of the fan controller. It popped right out. There's the relays. It's good to see that they used relays. So this is a factory harness. The rest of this is not. Then there's a plug here for something. I wonder what that used to go to. Huh. Well, that's fun. What could that be? I'm gonna have to go look at my other Foxbody to get a better idea of what that goes to. This runs over here. And we're gonna have to take this positive off too, just to get it out of the way. There's so much, just so much going on. I'm gonna cut this off for now. Come on. Get out of there. All right, and then, what is this? There's wires wrapped around, there's a fuse that goes to a ground? What? What? I don't know, guys. I don't know. We're gonna take the connector. Come on. Boy, that's in there on the coil. Let's take this out. That's in pretty great. Plastic clip just broke. Because, you know, old car things, right? This is all just, look at this. Ah, here we go. Here is the connector that I was looking for. So this is the factory coil controller, and this is what will bypass the MSD right there. So now that we got this off, if you take this and you plug it back into the coil, the car will now control the coil. Bingo! That's all I wanted. That's literally all I wanted, was for the car to control the spark. So now that we've got this out, we can pull all of this. This is just such a... What a mess. And this right here, what does this go to? Nothing anymore. There we go. Hey, we're getting somewhere, guys. This is why I want to go back to stock. This is all it is right here. These both, this runs over here. This one runs. We don't need this one anymore, so we'll cut that. There we go. We're already making progress. Look at this. And that will be a successful uninstall of the MSB6AL that you guys love so much, which, by the way, it is also worth money. Yeah, that's something that's worth some money, too. We're finally... There's room. You see where we're going with all of this, guys? We're making room. I'm going to use my loppers here. These go to the fans and the relays, so we're going to just temporarily cut these off. Right there. And then what is this blue one? What does this blue one go to? Well, that's interesting. There's a blue wire that runs up the fender and into the dashboard. Yeah, looks like that goes into the dashboard. I don't know what it goes to. For right now, I'm going to leave a little extra length and I'm going to cut it off as well. Because obviously all of this is running to the fans. That is factory. This is not. So let's just go ahead and cut this off as well. And this mess of wiring right here, gone. Bingo. Making progress. Let's see how hard it is to get this 6AL out of here. I'm hopeful that it's just a couple of screws. If there's any on the bottom, we're going to have to take apart the cold air intake. And I'll be honest with you, that doesn't look fun. These are, looks like maybe some self-tappers, sheet metal screws, or... Come on. No, those are not self-tappers. So somebody had to drill this in. Now, I don't know what all this stuff is worth. Probably not a fortune, but I can guarantee you it's worth something. So we're putting factory parts in, making it easier to repair in the future. Uh-oh. We do have a... we have one in the bottom. That one looks like it could be a real pain to get to. There we go. Hey, look at that, guys. There is so much wiring coming out of this thing. This is going to look so much better when we're done. All right, look, there's actually room in here. You know, you can see what's going on. We can zip tie this wire harness back where it belongs in its proper location. This is good. We're going to take off this fan controller here. And I think it's about ready to start going back together. Last bolt. And are you ready? Because this is the last piece right there to come out. There it is. Oh, that feels so good. All right, so it's getting close to time to putting things back together. I'm going to try take these bolts off and leave the pulley installed. That's the idea. Is hopefully the tension will keep the pulley where it's sitting. We can take these bolts out so we can put it all back together with the new clutch. And hopefully these are the original. Yeah, they are. Good. Somebody didn't put shorter bolts in here because we're going to need every bit of these to put all of this back to factory. Let me get the rest of these bolts out, and we're going to start putting this thing back together. All right, we're going to start putting some hoses back on this thing, clamping them down because it's going to be easier to clamp some of this stuff now than it will be once we put the radiator in. I think I've got everything together as best I can. I wanted to get this chrome cover off of the air compressor, but the bolts holding it in are some very strange, bizarre size of bolts, so that's not going to happen. So we're just going to button this up and bolt everything down. There we go. And get ready to drop that new radiator in. All right, I think I'm doing this right. I hope I'm doing this right. We've got the new fan and the clutch, which I already assembled off camera. I'm gonna slide it on to the water pump, and hopefully, well, it looks like it might act. This might work. And I'm gonna put the shroud over this. That's the idea anyway. Put the shroud over this, and then drop the radiator in. Right? Does that make sense? Or is there not going to be any room? See, I don't know. I'm probably doing this wrong, which means I'll have to do it all over again here in just a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm only going to put a couple bolts into this fan. Then I'm going to slide the shroud over it. Yeah. And we're going to see if we can fit the radiator in. And if we can, then we can continue what we're doing. And if we can't, then I guess we put the radiator and the shroud with the fan in first. I don't know. All right, we don't even have to put two of them on here, I don't think. I think that's good enough. Let's see if we can fit the shroud over this. I really hope that we can. So this should, it should, uh-oh. That's what I was afraid of. Ain't gonna work. So you got to do the fan and the shroud as one assembly. Huh. How about that? So as I was saying, undo everything that I just did. And let's do this again. Because, well, I've got nothing better to do than undo everything I just did and start over and do it again, right? Sure. And then we still have to hope it's going to run, because now that I'm looking, there's a couple plugs. There's a plug here, and there's a plug here. It has nothing attached to it. Nothing was attached to it. Unless they plug into each other. Nope, they don't plug into each other. So hopefully that's not something ignition related. Let's take the fan off. And I guess this is fun. We put the shroud in without the radiator, and we put the fan on, right? Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, this is a disaster. There's too much crap going on down here. There we go. Yeah, wait. Yeah, I think we got it. Okay. Oh, I still have to wonder, though, once we get this done, is the radiator gonna fit? Oh, man. I feel like this was a mistake. Yeah. We'll take this. There we go. We'll take that out. That gives us a lot more room to work with, right? All right, cross your fingers. 3 more of these bolts, and then we try to put the radiator in. And if it doesn't fit this way, then I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video, because I have no idea how else to do this. Fun times. Fun times. I'll be honest with you. I mean, it is Christmas Day, but even though I complain and I get frustrated, being completely honest, I love this. You know, every one of you has screamed and cussed at a car before. I promise you. Doesn't mean we don't love doing it. It's just, it can be frustrating sometimes. And sometimes you see the way things are engineered and you just shake your head and you're like, why? Why? Just, you know, why? You're telling me there wasn't a better way of doing this? Really? Like now, I can't even get my hand there's hardly, there we go. There's hardly any room. The bolt's trying to fall out, and, you know, then you'll have to chase it under the car. See what I mean? There's just, unless you've got teeny tiny hands, and again, I'm probably doing this all wrong. So you guys can comment below and scream and say, hey, what are you doing, man? You should know better. All right. I'm excited. I shouldn't be, because I already know that we're going to be doing this all over again, but I'm excited because, stop. I feel like this is going to work. I do. I feel like this is going to work. I got a good feeling. Stop. Don't take away my good feeling, okay? Get back, stay over there, all right? Now let's take this and kind of slide it. Please, please, please. Yep. I'm not excited. I think if we can get this to come back up, come on. This clips into the bottom of the radiator, so if we can, there we go. There's one side, come on. Oh, yeah, wait, no, yes. Is this where it's all supposed to go? Yeah. Oh, ouch, jeez. That hurt. All right, and this shouldn't, where's it rubbing? On the bottom? Yeah, I knew it was too good to be true, right? There we go. Guys. Put the mounts on, put the hoses on, fill it up with coolant. We're good to go. All right, guys. It's about that time. We're going to fill it up with coolant. And I've got all the hoses, all the clamps. Everything is buttoned up. I love the stock look. I know a lot of you are going to get so mad at me. But I like the stock look. And those fans, I'm sure the fans are good, but the install was awful. And instead of redoing somebody else's install, I'd rather just come back with the factory stuff, put the original equipment stuff in. It's going to work fine for this car. I guarantee you. It's going to keep the temperatures where they need to be because it was designed for this car. No guesswork, no games, just one and done. All right, I think it's ready. We're going to try to fire it up. And we don't know if it's going to run because we ripped out the MSD. There could have been something wrong with the factory system. I don't know. So, moment of truth. If I can find the keys. Found the keys. It smells like ozone. So much better than mouse poop. All right. Here we go. Let's... Well, it's running. Let me make sure I've got the tune where it needs to be. I do. All right. It's on just a basic street tune. 87 octane. I turn on the heat. There we go. Just let it run for a little bit. The cooling system is already sucked down a bit of coolant here, so we'll add some more. She sounds healthy. She sounds happy. Oh, she sucked down a lot of coolant. Wow. There we go. Let's just let her sip on that for a little bit. Get that thermostat to open up. And boy, that fan, that's nice. That's the way it's supposed to be. No rubbing, no funny noises. Running like a top. All right, we've got good pressure on the cooling system. It's warmed up, not completely, but enough. I'm gonna hook up the timing light here. We're going to check the timing. This is number 1. So we'll get that there and move it out of the way. We'll route these cables so that they're not going to get interfered with by any pulleys or anything. We're going to hook up the timing light. I'm going to fire it up. I'm going to let it run just a little bit, but before we do, we got to pull out this little jumper. I don't know exactly what it is, a tips or something like that. If you don't pull that out, then setting the timing isn't going to do you any good. So let's fire it up and let's check that timing. Now, I set the timing yesterday. The tune that I have specifically says it wants the timing at 10 degrees before top dead center. So that's what we're doing. We're setting the timing at 10. And it's a tad bit off. No, it's not. It's perfect. Yeah, that is perfect. Right at 10 degrees. I was looking at the wrong line. Somebody marked the numbers on here with white and red. Why, I don't know, but the red ones are the ones that are right on the money, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, etc. The white ones are kind of in between. So I'm going to let this thing warm up for a while, and we'll plug in that little module we pulled out, and I guess we can put it on the lift. We might as well change the oil while we're under there, putting the speedometer cable back on. We'll change the oil, put a Wix oil filter on it, and get that speedometer fixed, and we can take it out for a spin. If you remember in the previous video, it was having surging issues. I don't know if anything we did today is going to fix that or not, but I'd like to find out. How's that? I feel like I'm off. Hold on. That should be all right. There we go. And that should be good enough. We'll go ahead and shut her down. And now we can change the oil. All right, let's drain this oil. See what she's working with in here. This is probably going to be messy. The oil's going to be very hot too, so that's nice. Here we go. Let's see if we can get burned today. Not bad. If you're wondering what the oil looks like, well, there it is. Nice and golden. Actually, looks like pretty good oil. That's not bad at all. Let's set this off to the side. Let that drain. All right, we're gonna go back with some Mobil 1 10W30, and I know you're thinking that's overkill for a car like this, and you're right, it's just an old pushrod V8. Doesn't really need it, but we're gonna do it anyway. It also doesn't really need a Wix filter, right? But we're gonna do that anyway as well, because we're gonna put the best of the best in this vehicle. And the Wix filter is a 51515. And speaking of filters, I'd like to move this out of the way and show you the filter that came out of it. This is a little concerning. Power flow. You see all the spray paint? That spray paint is there because this filter has literally been on this car since, well, since the engine was installed. It's too bad there's not a date on it. That would be really nice. It's a power flow, and that's all it says. The part number is blacked out by spray paint. Oh, there we go. Anyway, let me get some oil in this thing. We can take her on a drive. All right, while I was under there, I fixed the speedometer. Just like I thought, when I was yanking on the instrument cluster, I pulled it out of the transmission. So she's fixed. So we should have a speedometer now. Just gonna pour this Mobil 1 in here. Slow and steady wins the race. Then we'll take her out for a test drive, and we're gonna cross our fingers and hope that everything is good and it's not surging anymore. All right, are you guys ready? I'm ready. The interior is dry, which means we can actually sit in here now. Kick on the lights. Roll up the windows. Let's turn on a little bit of heat. There we go. Check our gauges. Battery looks good. Temperature is excellent. Oil pressure looks good. Fuel, we're running a little bit low, but overall, guys, it's looking good. I'm going to keep my eye on that temperature because you guys saw in the last video, that temperature would get all the way up to like the end. I mean, it was climbing high, and then the fans would kick on, and then they'd stay on too long, and it was a disaster. So let me get buckled up. Let's take this thing for a spin. All right, here we go. I'm crossing my fingers that we don't have that surging problem anymore and that the check engine light doesn't come back on. I know I said we were going to run the codes in the next video, but I did it on my own, guys, and it was strange. I was getting code 91, if I remember right, and I don't know, some other weird stuff was going on. So I just decided the best thing to do is delete that MSD box, because I really think that box was causing us some problems. We're gonna turn the tuner onto the setting where it's supposed to not start the car. We're gonna see if the car starts this time or if it's still surging. Yeah, I've still got a surge. Yep. That is so bizarre. Well, hopefully we can get the check engine light to come on. I'll show you guys how to run the codes. Now, like I said before, just like yesterday, once you hit the throttle a little bit, she's good. It's only when you're trying to maintain like a set speed. And you can see down there, everything is working. The speedometer works now. And it's really not that bad, but I notice it, and it bothers me. Now, I hear an exhaust leak. Yeah, I hear a pretty good exhaust leak, actually. That'll do it. I'll tell you right now, if we're leaking before the oxygen sensors, yeah, it's going to be reading that it's too lean. It's going to be trying to add fuel to compensate. That could absolutely be causing our problem. But the more gas you give it, I mean, she gets down the road just fine, guys. Not a problem. All right, well, we still have a slight problem. I'm going to drive it for a few minutes, see if we can get the check engine light to come on, and we'll come back when we get back to the shop. All right, well, we got a check engine light, so I'm honestly kind of surprised. Nothing really has changed with this car mechanically. Like, this is very bizarre. It just randomly started acting up. So here is your EEC, I believe this is EEC4 test port. They sit right next to each other, and you simply take a jumper wire like this, and you'll plug it in to this one right here, top right or bottom left, depending on what orientation it's in. And then you see this little one right here, you plug it in to this one as well. And then I'm going to show you how to go inside and check the codes. So you've jumpered your connector, and you're going to go in here and simply turn the key on, and then watch the check engine light very closely. You'll see it do a couple little preliminary flashes, and then it's going to start for real. You can hear things happening under the hood. It should flash twice really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. That's a code 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Code 15. And I think from here it moves on to the next code. All right, just a random 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. Code 91. Then it should do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. 1591, and I think that's probably going to be the end of the codes. Yeah. So that's it. Code 15 and a code 91. So what do those mean? I don't have a clue. So a code 15 kind of makes sense. I just pulled it up on the old Google here, and code 15 on the Ford forums says, code 15 means that the EEC has a permanent read-only memory test failure. That might actually make sense because I'm not running on the factory tune. I'm running on the aftermarket tune. So there's probably something going on there that's confusing the computer when it's trying to do its self-test. It sees something else there that's not supposed to be there. Now the code 91, we got to look that one up next. So another quick Google search on a Mustang forum, aren't forums great, says that a code 91 is lean bank 2 oxygen sensor. And remember, I mentioned this earlier that I am a little concerned that I'm certain I hear an exhaust leak. Did I say passenger side? I meant driver side. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that Ford bank 1 is the passenger side and bank 2 is the driver side. So cylinder number 1 is on the front over here, okay? So bank 2, at least we know which side it is. We are having some issue. Either we have a leak and the oxygen sensor is getting fresh air mixed in, or it's not reading enough gas and it's trying to dump more fuel, or the oxygen sensor itself is toast, which is definitely a possibility. It wouldn't hurt just to throw a couple oxygen sensors. There should only be 2, I think, one on each side, because this car is long tube headers. So we should only have 1 on each side, the primary oxygen sensors. So I'm saying, why don't we just go grab a couple O2 sensors? We'll come back in another video. We'll change them out. We'll cross our fingers, and we'll hope that that fixes the problem, because I've noticed that slight exhaust leak since I got the car. So that hasn't changed. The only thing that changed seems to be the fact that it's now reading lean on the driver's side. And if it's reading lean, it's probably trying to dump more fuel. And imagine that. You've got a balance of fuel and air mixture on the passenger side, but on the driver's side, it's reading lean and it's trying to richen up the fuel mixture. I mean, that could absolutely cause a surging issue. Is that the cause, though? I'll be completely honest with you guys. I don't know. Fox bodies aren't really my thing. I've always been a GM guy, but I've always loved the Foxbody platform. All right, now that we removed the MSD controller, why don't we see if in position 5 the car will start, because position 5 is supposed to be an anti-theft mode. The car is not supposed to run, and we tried all the different anti-theft modes yesterday, and it ran in all of them. Huh. So it does run in anti-theft mode. Ah, there we go. Maybe it just had to... There we go. Yeah, it starts, but it immediately dies. Uh-oh. Well, I thought anti-theft mode was supposed to make it not run at all. That's what it says. Yeah, well, it obviously runs, so... Wow. It smells like straight gas, like raw fuel in here. Let's try it again. Yeah, she's happy now. Check engine light went off. It'll come back on as soon as I start driving again. We already know that. It's already cooled down. The temperature has been sitting perfect since we changed out the radiator and the cooling fans. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. We've got a little bit more work to do on it, guys, but that's what makes for great content. What an appropriate song. Look at the pulps. I barely got them turned up. Man, I gotta admit, I love this old car. I really do. I barely got it turned up, but it actually bumps in the car, man. Anyway, you guys would never be able to really experience what it's like in here without actually being in here, but I think I'm done. I'm going to shut her down, take the keys out, put it in gear. I'm finished. You know what I was just thinking? What if I need to set things like the TPS, the throttle position sensor? I know on General Motors vehicles, you don't just stick a sensor on. You got to actually set the sensor to a specified value. And I'm just kind of wondering if maybe I should be doing that as like being proactive, you know? And you can also adjust the IAC on a GM vehicle, the idle air control valve. It's got me wondering, can you adjust them on a Foxbody as well? Maybe I should be looking into this stuff and at least making sure all of this stuff is set to where it needs to be set, because that could cause problems as well. Now, no doubt, I'm going to get the oxygen sensors, we'll throw them on, and we'll throw the parts cannon at it. We're going to hope that it actually works. Either way, today I feel like we accomplished quite a bit. I know a lot of you are going to be really upset with me, but I've got a lot of parts now that I can sell. I've got the 6AL, I've got the Mishimoto fans and the Fluidine radiator. I'll probably just sell that as a set since they're already bolted together. I guarantee you some Foxbody enthusiast is going to want those. I've got that tachometer. That's a nice tachometer. That's something I can sell too, and I still have the car. That's the best part. Like, I can sell all of this crap that is not needed, and I still have the car. We're just making money, guys. All of those parts I just put in cost me maybe 150, 160 bucks for the radiator, which I got from Rock Auto, and I got the fan and the clutch off eBay. You know, so seriously, not that expensive, and I'm sure I can get more than that out of those parts. Drop your comments below, tell me what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. Christmas is over. It's like, I don't know, it's got to be getting on like 8, 9 o'clock tonight. I'm ready to go home and go to bed. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the thumbs up button and let me know. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.